Hello, this is Larry Anderson. I want to run over a few things in preparation for our NAQP RTTY contest this weekend. I have prepared a sheet of instructions, sent those to you in the form of a checklist, and then we want to give you some more detailed information. First of all, what I'd like to do is to ask all of you to put on your calendars to remind you, we want to meet via Zoom while we're having our practice on Wednesday night. And so what that's going to mean is that it will allow us, while you're operating, to be able to hear one another. And you won't feel like you're in a dark room with no contact with the outside world. But in talking with our coaches this afternoon, who are going to help us get this going, it makes a lot more sense for us to just have the Zoom room open and you can hear people talking. Like if we need to give instruction about somebody to move somewhere to different frequency, or encouraging somebody to switch from search and pounce to running, so you can practice that, then that would be good. So I think I've sent you, if I haven't already, I will, the instructions on how to get to this particular meeting room that I'm recording this from today. So let me just go over some things. But that Zoom session, by the way, is we want to start that at 6 p.m. Wednesday night, which is 0 Zulu. 0 Zulu Thursday morning. So 6 p.m. Central Time. If the Eastern, you're 7, of course. Anyway, but that's just going to help you. The reason we want to start at 6 is to make sure that we could check that everything is working for you, that if you have any questions or suggestions, any kind of comments, we can do that and get that done before we actually start the practice session. And that's going to make it much more valuable. I know that takes some time, but from our experience in running NAQPs in the past, where we've had teams involving people who were not members of the Deep Dixie Contest Club, or who didn't have their software set up right, and either didn't submit their scores or didn't submit them to the right place, or there were several things that they didn't do, and we hadn't done a good job of telling them. When I say we hadn't, I mean we hadn't done a good job. So I want to solve that problem. Okay, let's go through a few things and as fast as I can. Some of this stuff is going to get kind of deep. If you use N1MM, you can kind of skip forward. If possible, I'll try to put markers to where you can skip forward. Okay, so before the contest begins, and actually before practice session begins, we want to make sure that you have N1MM set up. Now, if you're not an N1MM user, don't worry about it. But if you're going to use N1MM, I'm going to assume that you have downloaded it and installed it. And we want to get it set up correctly for this thing. So I'm going to share my screen right now. It's going to look cluttered, I warn you, because I'm on my Macintosh. I'm a Mac user. I cannot stand Windows, but I have to use it for that, for N1MM, instead of some Mac contesting software. So let me find my screen and switch over there to it. We'll switch right over here to a team viewer. And so here we see, now I have 2 monitors, and this is only monitor 1, but what we have here is N1M set up on one screen like I have it done. And right down here in the bottom is what you're familiar with, is the entry window. Now this band map over here to the left is something we will not be using on Saturday, because we're not allowed to have any kind of assistance. And so the band map might tempt you to click on some spot that showed up. So we're not going to be using that. But these are my window positions right now. I'm also going to be talking about using a piece of software along with N1MM for RTTY, and that is MMTTY, and that's what we recommend. And that's what this window up here As a matter of fact, what we copy from online, I mean, and on the air is going to appear up here in the MMTTY digital interface window, the digital interface window. So I'm assuming that you know N1MM. So if you haven't set up for the NAQP, I have this set up, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Go to the file menu down here, click on file. And if you have a database set up for something where your NAQP contest would work, then that's fine. But I'm going to just click on open database because I have one. Well, and so I have a lot of them, and so I'm going to search for one that says NAQP. So sure enough, here's an NAQP S3DB, NAQP. So I'm going to open that database. Now the database is the locker where the contests themselves are. You'll see a window that looks like this, and it's going to ask you for some questions. We can go ahead and choose some of those, but for right now, I'm just going to say okay, because it may be for a different contest. Don't worry about it. The next thing we're going to do is come back to the file menu and choose file and choose open log in database. And it's going to be the database you just chose to open, either create or open. It's NAQP. So I'm going to open and log in that database. And it comes up to NAQP ready. And it's going to be on February 27th, 1800 Zulu. So that's good. North American QSO Party, ready. That's going to be the right contest. Now, you have two tabs, contest and associated file. On contest, make sure that you come down in here in the category. Oh, wait, let me tell you before that, you can see the rules if you want to. Click on here and it'll show you the rules for the contest. But anyway, operator must be single op. The multi-op and check log do not work. Because you're going to operate on more than one band, it's going to be all, has to be low power. The mode is going to be ready. Don't choose like sideband, CW, and digital. It is totally ready. And I don't know if any of you are rookies or over 50, or you can have some of these overlays. For this one, I just choose NA. This is a fixed station. I don't think any of you are going to be operating mobile. This must be tow assisted, must be non-assisted. That's the rules of NAQP. One transmitter. And then this is a really important window right here where you put your sent exchange. You're going to put your name and a space and your state, abbreviation for your state. The reason it's important to put this in here is that goes into your Cabrillo file that you file with the contest operators. You put your operator call sign down here. If you're going to be using a different call sign, then that'll show up somewhere else. Okay, so that's what goes into the contest tab. But wait, before you click OK, go back up here and click on the associated files, because this is important. Now, the one that we're really interested in here is the digital function key file name. You remember I've sent you the function key message file. And if you haven't installed this already, then go right over already, then come over here to where it says change. Click on change, and it's going to ask you, do you want to download the function key file from the website? In this case, the answer is no, because I have created, with the help of the coaches, I've created a special function key file for us for this contest. So you say no. And then I'm hoping that you have downloaded that function key message file and put it in this path inside your, it's going to be in the documents folder, inside your documents folder under users and your name, the documents folder, and then N1MM Logger Plus. and function key messages. So when you come in here, and it may be down in here, but just for me, I have a special folder called RTTY where I put my function keys for RTTY. You don't have to, but all you want to do is to navigate to the place where, bingo, we have this NAQP RTTY Deep Dixie Contest Club function key messages. That's what that means. Okay, when you have that highlighted, click open. And now what it's going to do is to put that information here. Okay, now, also, and you probably want to do this again before the contest on Saturday. Down here, the call history file name. If you click on change right here, and the Claude VE2FK updates this regularly, and he will update it again. I've sent him information on all of your call signs to make sure they're in there. This is great. All you have to do is to click change. This is so easy. Bingo. The newest call history file that matches this contest name is NAQP RTTY-001. Now, he put this up here on February 22nd at 1643. The question is it okay to download and assign it to the NAQP RTTY contest? The answer is yes. And again, do this again on Saturday, shortly before the contest, so that you'll have the updated call history file. Now, once you've done that, click on OK. That's good. You've done that. All right. So you've gotten those done. Now, let's go and start looking at these menus here on what we need to do. I don't think there's anything. I usually just look at the databases. Just a matter of fact, sometime if you want to go back to one of the 10 previous contests you used, instead of searching everywhere, you can just look down here. Well, we don't need any of those items. From the edit menu, we really don't need any of these right now, but it's interesting just to see what that is. Let me point out something to you. We don't need for NAQP, but if you do a lot of RTTY contesting, like WPX, the CQ Worldwide WPX contest, something that uses serial numbers, look right down here, increased received number by 1, Control U. This is a shortcut. So if you hear AA3B and maybe you've called him, and so you've clicked on AA3B to put his call sign in your entry field, but he works somebody else and he gives them number 397. So when you click on 397, it goes into the serial number box on the entry window. It would be, somewhere like out here. Well, if it's 130, no, what I say, 197, instead of having to backspace and type all that stuff, you may be back over here where it's A3B and 197. If you press Control U, yeah, I don't know if I can do that on this Mac. Anyway, I don't think I can do that. But if you do that Control U, it will advance that number by 1. That's very, very, very good. All right, let me wipe that out. Okay, so the next one is going to be, by the way, another one. When you finish the contest and you have to figure out how long you've been working it, like you're going to post your scores on 3830scores.com, there's no option for on times, but there is for off times. So if you click on off times, it's going to show you a window up here that's going to tell you what your on time has been. Okay, that's just a little tip. Okay, now we do need to do something in the tools menu. Pull this down, and what we're going to do is right here, download and install the latest check partial file. And I like to do this for all contests, but especially DX contests. It's good for US contests. Anyway, all you have to do is click that thing and it's going to tell you that it was downloaded and installed, and that's complete. Good. Now let's go back to the tools menu. We're going to download and install the latest country file. Well, NAQP is North American QSO Party, but still it does the same thing. So those are two good files to download. Now, when you set up, when you set up your N1MM, you may have 2 or 3 monitors like I do. And so you have, like I have my scoreboard and a bunch of other stuff on the second monitor, which you can't see right now. But you get all the windows set. You know, you drag these windows around here. And by the way, I have this window right here for a reason. This is my check window. Okay, and maybe something happens, they get messed up. What I want to do, once I get them like I like them, go back to your tools menu, and right down here it says save window positions. And what it will do is look and see where the windows are, and it will save them. And so a while ago, I had a window that popped up. I just got rid of it, but I could just click restore window positions. And in case somebody had been fiddling with your computer, or for some reason, you can click that and it will fix it. It'll put those windows back where you were when you told them to save the window positions. Okay, that's a good thing. Now, the config menu is where we're going to do a lot of work. So the first thing is under configure ports, mode control, WinKey. You're going to do a lot of things here. So maybe you have already. Maybe you've used this enough. So I'm going to look at several of these tabs. The first one is the hardware tab, and these are the COM ports that connect to your radio. I'd use a flex radio. So this first one, COM10, is for my radio 1. And you'll click on set and you'll set your speed and paired bits and stop bits and start bits and all these things. And I usually check all 4 of these boxes. Some people don't suggest that. And you don't need to worry about this PTT delay, I don't think, if you're not using an amplifier. So, but you'll do this for each one of them. And we're not using a WinKey for this one, but one of mine is a WinKey, and let's see, I can't tell necessarily right now which one that is, but anyway, okay, so just go ahead and set your hardware for that. Next thing is function keys. Look at this. If you're sending numbers, and we're not, but if you're in like serial number, for RTTY, it's especially good to send leading zeros in serial numbers. So if somebody sends you 3, well, if it's 003, that's a bigger target for you to click on. So if you do CW, this is good. So send a corrected call before the end of the QSO. So if you mess it up first, but you correct it later on, it'll send it to validate that you sent it correctly. And I have several others checked. Another one that's important is work dukes when running. And I like to do that very, very much. Okay, function keys, digital modes, and this is us. Okay, so for your digital interface, you're going to have some options. And I don't know what you use, but it probably is a sound card, even if you're using an external device. And then another thing that we're going to be doing is to use MMTTY. Now, if you have not downloaded MMTTY, I believe I have the URL for you to download that. It's at hamsoft.ca, HAMSOFT.ca. And you'll see a screen there where it lists a lot of software, and you can download MMTTY, and you can tell right here that I've told it where my MMTTY software is. I have a directory called ham. Get that thing out of the way, that pop-up button. Ham, and then subdirectory is MMTTY. And inside that directory is a program called mmtty.exe. So that's the path. Well, on the Flex, we use AFSK, but if you have on Kenwood or some of those other ones where you won't have to worry about audio controls so much, use FSK, whatever you're doing, you set that right here. Now, I also have it set up to use two-tone, and we'll talk about two-tone as a second decoder, which will really help cut down on errors. Bottom left down here, you have your mode, AFSK or FSK. You can choose that, and down here as well. So that's on the digital modes. In the other, we really don't set up anything for there. We're not using the WinKey, so we don't need to set that up. The mode control. Under the mode control, what I like to do is to use the contest or radio mode so that it's not just radio or CW or something like that. Now, I'm going to pause this recording, and we'll be back to continue with the score reporting tab, which will be important for us to use later. So QRX.